data, digitalization, understanding more about the potential of crop varieties. We're beginning to use new techniques to identify varieties through genetic testing and things like that, which is going to be commonplace in the future. My name is Chet Boruff, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Official Seed Certifying Agencies. But of course, with a name like that, we always shorten that to AOSCA, which is really how we're known throughout the seed industry.
What exactly does AOSCA do? Can you give us a quick snapshot?
I sure can. AOSCA is the standard-setting body or organization within the seed industry that deals specifically with seed certification, and the intent of seed certification is to maintain varietal purity. And that's the focus of what we've done now for 100 years in our organization, to make sure that when varieties are produced for seed, the customer of that seed is getting the pure variety that they expect. And that assurance comes from adherence to the standards that AOSCA administers, and then to make sure that a third-party seed certifying agency has overseen the production of that seed. So we're the rulemaking, standard-setting body for that narrow part of the industry that deals with maintaining varietal purity. And the way we accomplish that is really not through AOSCA, but through all of our member agencies across the United States and Canada and 6 other countries as well.
We're here in Whistler, BC for the annual meeting of the Canadian Seed Trade and Canadian Seed Growers Association. Mm-hmm. Why are you here this year representing AOSCA?
I'm here because Canada has always been a very important part of our organization. They were one of our founding members. Back in December of 1919, Canada and then 13 states in the United States went to Chicago, and they met with the intention of putting together an organization that would bring uniformity to seed certifying standards. Those standards were already in existence within the industry, but they were not uniform from state to state or across the national boundary. And as the international seed trade was growing and flourishing at that time, in order to encourage that trade to grow, everybody saw that there had to be uniformity. So that certified tag produced in the United States, in one state, for example, meant the same thing to the customer when they bought it, perhaps in Canada.
It's a big year for you in 2019 for AOSCA. Can you tell us why?
Well, it is a big year because it's our 100th anniversary. As I mentioned, back in December of 1919, they formed our organization. At that point in time, it was called the International Crop Improvement Association, and then in the late 60s, the name was changed to AOSCA. But from that beginning in Chicago, Illinois, back in 1919, now, as I mentioned, I think we've got organizations in 45 states, Canada, across South America, we've got Argentina, Brazil, and Chile, South Africa, New Zealand, and Australia. And all of those countries or states adhere to our standards for the production of certified seed. So that's been a big year for us to plan that 100th anniversary, and then not only to look back, but more importantly, look forward to see what the organization has ahead of it in terms of relevance and service to the seed industry.
Can you tell us what some of the highlights have been for you during your time with AOSCA? How long have you been with AOSCA, and what have been some of the standout moments?
Okay, well, I'm just about to celebrate my 15th year, actually, with AOSCA. I did not come from the seed industry. I actually came from the other side of the seed industry as a customer, because I've been a long-time producer, primarily of corn and soybeans on our farm in western Illinois. I also spent 7 years in the Illinois Department of Agriculture as a Deputy Director of Agriculture responsible for natural resource regulatory programs. So that was kind of my background. The seed industry, from my perspective now, was new to me, so it's been kind of a learning curve the last 15 years. Some of the standouts is that we found new ways for AOSCA and our member agencies to provide services outside of seed certification to the seed industry. So that develops new service income for them and some new relevance and really identity within the seed industry. That's one of the big standouts we've been working on, and helping through some of the biotechnology as it's been commercialized to make sure that stewardship is being adhered to protect the value of those traits as well.
What's next for AOSCA? Where do you see the organization going, let's say, 100 years from now for the 200th anniversary? Can you speculate on what you think it will look like?
Yeah, it'll look entirely different, more than something that we really can't even envision. Probably the same way that original founders in 1919 really couldn't have seen the things that we're dealing with now. But what I see, of course, is applies to certification the way it does to the entire industry. Data, digitalization, understanding more about the potential of crop varieties. We're beginning to use new techniques to identify varieties through genetic testing and things like that, which is going to be commonplace in the future. So that farmers will look a lot different than they look today. Their farms will look a lot different, but we're still going to be trying to find services for them because they'll always be dealing with consumers. Here at this meeting, we were talking about blockchain technology and how that could be used in Canada, in this case, to connect the consumer with the person that actually bred, the plant breeder that bred a new variety of seed. And so I think those kinds of things will be more commonplace in the years to come, and who knows, but we're going to try to keep finding a niche and a place for us to provide service.
What is your website?
Our website is AOSCA.org, AOSCA.org. And on the website, there are links to all of our member agencies. There's information about what we do, what seed certification is all about. So I would encourage anybody that wants to know more to go to AOSCA.org.